Hey guys, and welcome to I Need a Shave. Today we're going to do this month in music, where I review singles, EPs, and albums that came out last month, which is May. Let's just jump into it because we've got a lot of music to cover. Firstly, we've got all the singles that Brockhampton dropped over the month. They released a lot of singles, so I'll cover them briefly. Starting with NST. This is a pretty aggressive song, which isn't something I've heard from Brockhampton since 2018, and I really liked it. The production is great, and I love all the verses. Next up, we have Things Can't Stay the Same. Another aggressive song with a pretty rough mix, and I really love how abrasive it feels. Fishbone Season returned to the quite pretty and sensible style. I think the song's pretty okay. I don't think that the rough mix does it any justice. I'm sure they will be a lot better and when mixed properly. Chain On/Hold Me is an incredibly well-produced song. The beat switch is placed beautifully and all the verses are incredible. I really liked all of these singles, and I'm hoping to get a Brockhampton album that I obsess over as much as I did the Saturation era. Then we have Dorian Electra with Sorry Bro I Love You. Dorian Electra comes through with a really fun track. It's about Dorian's relationship with one of his bros, and he falls in love with him. The only problem I have with this is that it's criminally short. Then we have JPEG Mafia with Cutie Pie. This is a pretty different sound for JPEG Mafia. First venture into sort of almost boom bap. And along with the boom bap drums, the production, as per usual, is extremely textured, and the bass line is absolutely mwah. Now onto the EPs. We have Dog in the Evening with Blue Eyes. I found out about this artist at the start of the year through Twitter and their 2015 EP Dog in the Eve, and I really liked it. This EP right here, while it's a lot more safe than the Dog EP, there are some really nice vibes on this, and it's a nice EP to relax to. Then we have Little Sims with Drop 6. She again shows why she's one to be reckoned with. The production is a lot more stripped back than the grey area, which puts her lyrical ability on the forefront, and she really is a great rapper with a bright future. Now onto the albums. First off, we have Future with High Off Life. This is just really boring for me. Other than a few tracks, it was mostly just run-of-the-mill trap music that doesn't do anything for me. Then we have Lady Gaga with Chromatica. This is a pretty nice nod to classic dance pop, but she does fall into some of the tropes and can get a little bland at sometimes. Don't get me wrong, there are some great songs on here like Alice and 911, but most of it really doesn't stick with me. Then we have Hayley Williams with Pedals for Armor. This is a pretty fun, although run-of-the-mill pop album. The instrumentals are nice and groovy, and Hayley Williams' voice is still top-notch. Then we have KSI with Dissimulation. One thing I will say about this album is that I like how it's pushing what YouTubers can accomplish on the platform. Now, did that translate to a good album? Not really. KSI, he sounds pretty awkward on most of the songs, whether it be through auto-tune, crooning, or just rapping. He doesn't sound very confident, but I will say that Poppin' is a pretty good song, and it's probably his best performance on the album. But I didn't really get too much from this, to be honest. Then we have Drake with Dark Lane demo tapes. Another meh project from Drake. The album starts off pretty good, with Drake being a competent rapper on songs like Deep Pockets, When to Say When, and Chicago Freestyle. And even Tootsie Slide sounds a lot better within the context of the album. I love D4L, which has some great features from Future and Young Thug, but it falls off hard after that. Pain 1993 was a massive letdown, and Drake trying to do UK drill just makes me cringe. Yeah, it's another mixed bag. Then we have Car Seat Headrest with Making a Door Less Open. This album has some pretty great songs and some terrible songs. I feel like this album had heaps of potential. The electronic sound really works on songs like Weightlifters, Deadlines, and Life Worth Missing, but he really misses the mark by 100 yards with Hollywood. It really is horrendous. I think that Will can be successful with this sound, but he misses the mark on this one. Now we have Car with Descendants of Cain. Car delivers another incredible album to his already impressive discography. Descendants of Cain is a real left turn in terms of sound. With the lack of drums and instrumentals, his lyrics are at the front and center. And speaking of lyrics, he absolutely blew me away. The amount of double entendres and just great one-liners is just insane. Car is on an absolute killing spree with his last, 5 albums, all being insane. And he's really making a case for being one of the best ever. Now we have Young Lean with Stars. I wasn't really familiar with Young Lean's music when I first listened to this. I was familiar with Drain Gang, but I wasn't expecting the album to replicate what people like Bloody and Echo 2K were doing, and I was right. I love how well his laid-back vocals work with the spacey and atmospheric production. But again, I didn't really get much from it. The Ariel Pink feature I really liked, but other than that, there's not much to this album. Then we have Einster Zende No Bolten with Alice in Alum. So from what I've heard, this is a pretty legendary industrial band. And even after a long and celebrated career, this band still put out a top-notch album. The album is filled with haunting and deep vocals, and the production is, while quite safe, is still really impactful. The song Seven Screws, I'm pretty sure samples one of the songs from Twin Peaks, and it works perfectly with the deep and haunting vocals. And I really like this album. It was a good starting point for me to get into their music more. Then we have Carly Rae Jepsen with Dedicated Side B. I've been waiting for this album since Dedicated came out, and it didn't disappoint at all, and can stand with the original. If you know anything about me, you'd know that I love Carly's music, so it's not much of a surprise that I also love this album. The production stays relatively safe and true to Carly's style, except for maybe Window, which is one of my favourite songs in the album. She's still a master at creating these extremely catchy hooks that are still stuck in my head. Get out, get out. Then we have Moses Sumney with Grey. This was one of my most anticipated albums to come out this year after the first part of it dropped. Every single song hit on it, especially Gagarin, with its slow and fulfilling build-up. It's truly one of the best songs to come out of this year. And the second half hits just as hard as the first half did. The instrumentals kind of take a step back, and he lets his vocals be the main focus of it. And his performances are brilliant, and some of the best vocal performances I've heard from the past 10 years. Now we have Perfume Genius with Set My Heart on Fire Immediately. This was my introduction to Perfume Genius, and it really left a good impression on me. The songs on this album are absolutely beautiful, with Describe being my favourite. It's really nice shoegaze production, and the final minute being some absolutely stunning ambient work. His voice at times is really beautiful, and it really stands out on the masterfully produced Jason. The album has some of the most stunning songs of this year, and I'm really keen to dive into his discography for some more. Then we have Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist with Alfredo. Freddie Gibbs' rapping ability just continues to ascend and ascend, and he's really starting to make a case for being in the conversation for one of the most consistent rappers. Although people in the past have said that he gets carried by his producers, which is a fair criticism, it completely throws that argument out the window with this album. His rapping is absolutely top tier, and obviously Alchemist production is still god level. The features also kill it, with Tyler the Creator still in the show on his track and Rick Ross putting in a great effort. Freddie Gibbs is on an incredible run of form, and he continues this with Alfredo. Next up, we have Odraza with Rizezcom. This is probably my favourite metal album of the year so far. The production is incredible and can go from slow and ominous to fast-paced and although safe, quite exhilarating. The vocals are incredibly grimy and at some points almost become theatrical and make the songs feel absolutely massive. I've been addicted to this album for about a week, and I really do recommend checking this out if you're a fan of black metal, because this is great. Then we have Natalia Lafourcade with Un Canto por Mexico, Volume 1. This was my introduction into Natalia's music and Mexican music in general, and it was a really beautiful experience. The chemistry she has with basically all the people she collaborated with on this works perfectly, as well as the solo stuff on this. Her collaborations are mostly joyous and sounds like a celebration of her culture, and her voice makes it sound so welcoming. And her solo stuff on here is just so beautiful, and songs like Una Vida and Mi Religion being my favourites. I mean, there's nothing not to love about this album. It's so joyous and celebratory. And last but definitely not least, we have Charli XCX with How I'm Feeling Now. I think Charli's incapable of making bad music at this point. I mean, from the Zoom EP to now, I don't think I've heard a bad song from her. And that still applies with this album. The production is still so unique, and at some points bombastic as fuck. Especially with Pink Diamond verging on a Death Grips type beat. The thing I love most about Charli's music is how perfect her voice matches this style. She floats really nicely with the instrumentals and never sounds like she's playing catch-up, which can be a problem with artists in this lane. But yeah, this was one of my favourite albums to come out of this year so far, and it's been on repeat for a while now. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see ya.